So you have learned the basic ratio where there are two quantities. In the second lesson, you will learn when there are three quantities. And I will add in some questions that have a small bit of algebra. So the objective is I will learn ratio when there are three quantities. Oh yeah, I just realized something. Normally I don't write like that. I will write like that. Alright. Haha. Not much of a key because I have already went through those before. So let's say we have three quantities of algebra and we are supposed to simplify them. Now, previously, the key we have learned is answer must be whole number. And there's no unit, of course. So how do I make these three fractions into whole number? I need to multiply them. But the question is, what do I multiply them into? I have to make them into another equivalent ratio. Now let's recall the key of doing ratio when there's fraction. How do we make them into whole number? We multiply by the denominator. So very simple, we do it step by step. Of course, if you want to jump straight ahead, you can do that. You just multiply by the lowest common multiple and you should be able to do the trick. But let us just do one at a time. So this denominator is 2, so the first thing you times 2 times 2 times 2. And what you will get is 3 is to 2 over 3 is to 2 over 4. Just leave it as 2 over 4, it doesn't matter. The next thing we want to do is to make this 2 over 3 into a whole number. So make a smart guess, what do you multiply it by? The denominator. So I multiply by 3, this one I also multiply by 3, this one I also multiply by 3 because they have to be equivalent ratio. If they are not equal, I cannot write a equal down here. So 1 times 3, the other also multiply by 3. 1 for all for 1. So I will have 9, 2, as well as 6 over 4. Okay, we are close to getting the answer because we already have two whole number. Make another smart guess, what do we multiply the 3 ratio by? Yes, very good. It's multiplied by 4 because 4 is the denominator. So I will get 36 is to 8 is to 6. Now, right off the bat, you might want to write this as answer, but remember everything must be simplified. So I can divide this by 2, 36 divided by 2, I will get 18 is to 4 is to 3. And this will be my answer. So go ahead, I have two questions for you to try. Pause the video after I have finished written and go and simplify them into the simplest whole number. So let's call this A, this one let's call it B. Alright, 3 over 5 is to 1/2 is to 2.4. Alright, pause the video and try them out. Okay, I assume that all of you are done. Let me just go through it. So the first question, quite simple. We have 3 here, we have 3 here. We just multiply everything by 3. Alright, remember the last one we must also multiply. So here I will have 4 is to 2 is to 15 over 4. Then make a smart guess, what do I multiply them by? The denominator. So everything I times 4. Because equivalent ratio. So here I have 16, I have 8, I have 15. Can I simplify this anymore? No, I cannot. So this will be my answer. Next, we actually have a decimal down here. Now, you can actually convert all of them to decimal, then multiply by 10 or 100, then you simplify them. That is one way that is feasible, but you can also convert 2.4 into a fraction. So I will have this one. Let me just write 3 is over 2. Then this one is 2 and 4 over 10. Alright, but of course I can write them as improper fraction, so I will write it as 24 over 10. So first thing is multiply by the denominator. Okay, this one times 5 times 5 times 5. So I will have 3 is to 15 over 2, 120 over 10. Okay, next thing is the next thing is I multiply by 2. So this one times 2 times 2 times 2. So I will have 6, 15 is to 240 over 10. You can actually write it as 24. Alright, any common factor? I think I can divide all of them by 3. So I divide by 3 down here, then I will get 2 is to 5 is to 8. And this will be my answer. Okay, moving on. When there are common quantity, what do I mean by this? So a typical question will be, they give us A is to B is equals to 5 is to 6, B is to C is equals to 8 is to 11. Then find the ratio of A is to B is to C, like that. So how do we do this type of question? The first thing you need to do is identify what is the common quantity down here, which is B. So I have 1B here, 1B here. So this one will be the focal point. So A is to B is equals to, as I have written on top, 5 is to 6, while B is to C, on the other hand, is equals to 8 is to 11. So we need to make this 6 unit into the same as 8 unit. How do I go about doing this? I can just multiply this side by 8, this side by 8, this side by 6, this side by 6. Then the B will be equal. If you don't believe me, you can check it out. 8 times 5 equals to 40. 6 times 8 will give me 48. Then, okay, this one I don't need to do because it's down here. 11 times 6, I will get 66. So right off the bat, I know I can divide by some number. Okay, I can divide it by 2. So from here to here, I just divide by 2. I simplify them. Is to 24 is to 33. And that will be all for this type of question. Now, I will give you 2 questions to try it out yourself. Okay, first example. A is to B is equal to 7 is to 10. B is to C is equals to 15 is to 8. Then find A is to B is to C. Okay, this one is part 1 or one type of question. Then the other one is x is to y is equals to 3 is to 11, while z is to y is equals to 4 is to 7. Then find x is to z. So pause the video and try it out yourself. They shouldn't be too difficult. Now that you have done the question, let me just go through. Let me use an in color, right? So I will have 7 is to 10 and 15 is to 8. So what I am going to do is just to find the lowest common multiple. Lowest common multiple of 10 and 15 should be 30, alright? Because this one times 3, this one times 2. So I'm going to make this 10 into 30. How do I go about doing that? I multiply by 3. Here I also need to multiply by 3. 15 to 30, I multiply by 2. Here I also multiply by 2. And in the end, what I will get is 21 is to 30 is to 8. And actually that will be the answer because I cannot simplify anymore. So next, it will just be find x is to z. So the common one is y down here. So x is to y is 3 is to 11. Then 7 is to 4. Because I need to reverse it since y is being parked down here. So same thing, this one times 7, this one times 7, this one times 11, this one times 11. And I will get 21 is to 77 is to 44. And it looks like I cannot simplify this anymore, so this will be the answer. Lastly, let us look at this trickery. So a question can be if 5a is equals to 3b, find the ratio of a is to b. Now, instinctively, student will actually write the answer as 5 is to 3. But this one is a wrong answer. The answer is actually a is to b is equals to 3 is to 5. This one is the correct answer. Then you might be thinking, huh? Isn't it 5 is to 3? No, because if I were to represent this using, okay, I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 unit is equals to 3 unit. So you can see that the 3 unit, it is clearly more than the 5 unit. Okay, this one is A, this one is B. And if you still don't believe it, now we can do simple substitution. So if A is 3, this one is 3, then B is 5, I will have 5 times 3 is equals to 3 times 5, and which makes them equal. So check pass. But instead, if you think that A is 5 and B is 3, what will happen is 5 times 5 is equals to 3 times 3, which is not equal. So this one, you can see that it's definitely wrong. By flipping the coefficient around, you will just get the answer. Okay, so this one is how to get the answer. Now, let's say you have another question. For example, 6c is equals to 7d. Then find what is c is to d. And it will be quite simple. This one will be equals to 7 is to 6. I just flip them around, that's all. Let's say you have some monstrosity, something e, maybe 81e is equals to 34f. Then they ask us to find what is e is to f. And it's the same thing, you just flip it around. So I will have 34 is to 81. But of course, you know how to do this one is not enough. But what is the reason behind it? If you need to do working, how to do the working. So let me just show you. The working is a bit complicated. So at first you have 5a is equals to 3b. Now this one is extra knowledge. If you can just flip it around like this one or this one, then you are good. Don't worry too much about it. Okay, so now a is to b. If you can recall, I can write a over b. Correct? Because I can write ratio as fraction. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the b over. So I will have 5a over b is equals to 3. Now I have a 5 over here. This one is 5 times 8. Times I move over, it will becomes divide. So I want to move the 5 over to the other side. Alright. So I will have AB is equals to 3 over 5. And you can see that A is to B is equals to 3 is to 5. So this will actually be the working if it is needed. Alright.